understand that as adults, we're listening to adult content. But we do understand at the same time the things that we're listening to is getting to the kids. So now the kids are growing up, even though we know it's entertainment, they're not looking at it as entertainment. And I ain't trying to get all preachy, but the thing is that we just talking real. We talking facts.
Mm-hmm.
So if hip hop was the rhythm of the drums of the village, somebody took the drums and started to guide the hands to start making their own beat.
Wow. So let's dig a little deeper into that. You know, you said pretty much that the somebody said, and correct me if I'm wrong, that jails work with, or the prison industrial complex work with the record companies. Do you think that's true? Do you think that's on both the executives and the artists as well? Do you think they're working together? Or do you think that the artists are just ignorant to the fact that they actually destroying the people and helping, fuel the prison industrial complex?
At a certain level, and of course, like everybody talks, the conspiracy and Illuminati. Like I can't speak on what I don't have direct knowledge of. So when I say I don't know, I definitely mean I don't want to talk about anything which I don't know. But what I can say is the things in which have been recognized is that when you end up recognizing that there's a certain monetary benefit, you understand what I'm saying? A certain amount of incentive that's given based off of who's considered as hot. Well, my particular neighborhood just by itself, I used to tell people all the time, like my neighborhood,
we got you, brother.
Okay, I'm still on.
Yeah, you still on.
All right. So my particular neighborhood, Philly specifically, is more oriented. It is more oriented, even though it is a cultural center for many things. There's no denying that. It's a cultural heart for many things, but it is very materialistic. So whoever has the gold makes the rules. When money is flaunted, money is presented, things can happen. So when you, especially after 2004, 2005, which is, I consider a whole new wave of people from Philly, the culture of Philly, then we're not dealing with those who came back from, say, 80s bred, 90s bred. We're talking about a whole new group of people who they didn't have as much money. They wasn't raised around money. They didn't come from get money houses. They didn't come from families whose names actually rung bells throughout the city. They were simply people who was like, I got to get something. I got to get money. And anything that's presented on the table because I'm starving, anything that's presented because I'm I got babies and mouths got to get fed. People going to do whoever has the money says they got to do. So if I use Philly as a focal point of what the rest of the nation goes through, then it's simply that. One half is people don't care. And the other half is that there are certain people who they just don't know how to survive. And they want to pop. So that's another aspect of that, the one for fame. But then you have the other side, which is if I can stop myself from going to jail, and I can stop myself from kicking in doors, kidnapping people, wrapping them up, hitting the block, having to shoot about 20 people just so I can be able to eat out here, then I'm gonna sit there and speak about that over rhymes opposed from having to do it. And that's where that wave began. And that's where that wave came from, which even for myself, I'll be the first one to say, yeah, I would rather make a movie. I would rather make a web series. I would rather make a music video with fake weapons, opposed from having any of my artists have to be individuals who will have to go about doing it based off of survival. As a manager, that's when a person actually says they're a manager. A lot of people ain't managers, they're booking agents. A manager is a person who looks into everything that an artist is going through. So if your artist is not eating that night. If your artist, you know what I'm saying, even has a problem with what's going on with his baby mother, like as a manager, if you want to keep on producing, you got to make sure all those things are straight. So that was, I took place. I'm taking care of all of those things from the time in which I first began taking on that role.
At the convention, when we got to talk a little bit off stage, or let me just rewind just a little bit. While we were on stage, we had a conversation about Pop Smoke, and then we came off of stage, and you kind of gave us a little bit of some personal
Right.
experiences you had with Pop Smoke. In fact, kind of correlating to the conversation we had was the weaponization of hip hop. We're talking about lyrics and talking about how a lot of the youth love Pop Smoke, but at the end of the day, we've seen his unfortunate demise and how it played out. Share with the people your experiences with Pop Smoke and some of the information that you provided for him prior to his unfortunate demise.
Okay, rest in peace, Bashar.
Yes, sir.
May mercy be extended upon his grave. Now, a lot of the artists that I've dealt with, like I said, like I got a heart towards two people specifically. Three, but two specifically, in which I know that is my purpose to look out for because I went through the same thing, which is kids that get in trouble in the streets, and two, people who's coming home from jail. So when it came down to Pop Smoke, he used to be in Philly all the time. He used to come through, Brooklyn to our area, and he used to get in trouble too. And I don't want to speak too much on that because at the end of the day, his family can be able to vouch for everything on which I'm stating, but he had got incarcerated. And that brief time, a lot of the kids that was there with him, a lot of them are in the industry right now with signed deals, and they didn't know, or they probably wouldn't know, that they was in the same facility with each other. And I, at that time, when I first came back home, I had to go back after a little mix up, with my parole agent, the first time in which I got started. They felt as though I was doing too much, which is another problem for Black men that try to make themselves, make themselves a benefit to the community as much as possible. They slow you down because they say, hold up, you're doing too much. So I had some issues, so I had to go back. And when I came back the second time, after my first month, I was placed on the movie Brotherly Love with Keke Palmer and everybody there. But from that, I was able to get a position because one of the people who actually seen the movie actually wanted me to speak with the youth, where I actually became a mentor at one of the local juvenile facilities in Philly. And everybody came through. If they were under the age of 18 or were actually some were actually 18 and were still waiting to be transferred over to adult jail. I had the opportunity to talk to them. And with that, it's like a lot of them was, pretty much said, Mr. Rainey, when I get home, I'm gonna show you.
Definitely appreciate your time, brother, on the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. King Ring, let them know where they can find you. Let them know when that book is supposed to drop and all that other good stuff, brother.
All right, well, as far as Kyle Reed and Joe Garassi, that particular book we should be relaunching this upcoming 2022. So look out for that. That one is green. The grass is always greener on the other side of the barbed wire. We'll keep you updated on any changes or anything that pertains to that. You can find me on NR International on YouTube and Time is Money Magazine on YouTube. At the end of the day, those names are going to be the names which I want to be a household brand. It's not just something that's going to be for just a moment in time. This is something that's going to be lasting, not only for as long as I'm alive, but beyond that. We're talking about generational wealth.
Facts.
Yes, sir. We definitely appreciate you, brother, on the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. Until next time, man, we got King Rain on the podcast. Everybody be safe, man. Peace.